Real Madrid are on their way to their 15th Champions League victory, and it's hard to imagine anything that could stop them. In this video, we'll tell you why Real are the biggest monsters in football, recall the Blancos' most epic comebacks in the Champions League, and why the legendary Antonio Pintus is the shadow hero and the reason for the team's success. Let's go! Big wins can never be easy. However, since Real have accustomed their fans to those, it may seem like they are given to the Blancos for nothing. In fact, to win, a team not only has to be able to play great football, but also to endure and suffer. Throughout their history, Real Madrid have had a huge number of comebacks to recall, but their number in the Champions League, specifically in the last 10 years, is impressive and makes you admire the strength of this club. Let's recall the most epic ones. We should start with a match that will be remembered by Real fans as one of the best moments in the club's history. This is the legendary comeback in the Champions League final against Atletico in 2014. Usually, when a team ties the score after being down 1-0, it's not called a comeback, but given the conditions, it is undoubtedly a real comeback. The Champions League final stoppage time, Atletico minutes away from a historic victory. A corner, Luka Modric's cross, Sergio Ramos's jump, cease. It's worth reminding you that Real eventually won that match 4-1, scoring 3 goals in extra time against a demotivated opponent. However, it was Ramos's goal that became the turning point that brought La Décima to the club. 92 minutes, 48 seconds, the exact time when Sergio scored this goal became a legend, imprinted not only in the memory, but also on the bodies of many fans. Like this video if you consider that phenomenal episode to be one of the most memorable in Blancos history. Of course, we must also mention Real Madrid's comeback against Bayern, which allowed Madrid to reach the final of this year's Champions League. The Blancos are losing 2-3 on aggregate, and the team couldn't get past the opponent's defense. But then the hero everyone was waiting for appeared. In the 81st minute, Joselu was subbed on. In the 88th minute, he equalized, and in the 90+1st minute, he brought the team victory and a place in the final. This is not only the story of the Blancos' great victory, but also Joselu's personal story. Throughout his career, the striker has been looking for a place in big football. His fate has taken him to different clubs and countries. In particular, he played for Hoffenheim, Stoke City, Alaves, Hannover, Deportivo. And now, at the age of 34, he got a chance in one of the biggest world football giants. At the start of the season, who would have believed that the 34-year-old striker on loan from Espanyol would make a brace against Bayern in the Champions League semi-finals and lead Real to the final? It's stories like that make us love football. The next comeback we'll mention happened at one of the most difficult stadiums to visit in the world. We are talking about the match against Liverpool and the game at Anfield in the 2022-23 season. As early as the 15th minute of the match, the Blancos were losing 2-0 after goals by Núñez and Salah. A bad start, mistakes, pressure from the Anfield stands. Everything was going terribly for Real. But if anyone could bounce back in that situation, it was Real Madrid. The team pulled together and simply destroyed the opponents, scoring 5 goals by the end of the match and turning the second leg into a formality. Vinicius' brace, Benzema's brace, and Militao's goal did the trick. Wow! Now let's go back another year to the clash between Real and PSG in the round of the last 16. The Blancos lost the first leg 1-0, and in the first half of the Santiago Bernabeu, Kylian Mbappe doubled PSG's lead. Real came out for the second half with an extremely difficult task to score at least 2 goals to equalize. But who wants to equalize when you can just win? This time, the phenomenal Karim Benzema stepped up and scored a hat-trick between the 60th and 80th minutes of the game. With this wonderful comeback, Madrid's path to victory in the playoffs began. The path on which Real made perhaps their most epic comeback in recent history. We refer to the clash with Manchester City in the semi-finals of the tournament. Quick recap. In the first game at the Etihad, Real suffered all the time and had to catch up. In the end, City won with a score of 4-3, but the citizens' advantage in the game was very significant and Real's chances of overall success were not very good. Things got worse in the return leg. For a long time, the score remained 0-0, and Real failed to do anything. Moreover, in the 73rd minute, Riyad Mahrez scored at the Bernabeu, and the Blancos, with about 20 minutes left, had to score twice against this powerful Man City. The clock was in the 90th minute, and Real Madrid still hadn't scored a single goal. At this point, a small flicker of hope was lit when Rodrigo, after an assist from Benzema, managed to score one goal. After what happened next, you start to believe in magic. Just 1 minute later, Rodrigo scores another goal and takes the game to extra time. The stands are ecstatic and the opponents are shocked. In the extra time, Real scored the third goal thanks to Karim Benzema and managed to keep the winning result until the end. Then there was the final and the victory over Liverpool, but that's a whole other story. We've mentioned only the biggest and most iconic Real Madrid comebacks in the Champions League. Their number in such a short period of time cannot be accidental. As they say, once is a fluke, twice is a coincidence, and 3 times is a pattern. No one generates as much epic content in the Champions League as Real, and there are several logical reasons for this. The first is history. Real have an invisible aura of winners that puts pressure on opponents and makes them break down at the most crucial moments. When you play against the Blancos, you know that this team is capable of turning any game around because they have done it many times before. It works the same way with Real players. Wearing the white shirt, each player gets +10 to their resilience and awareness of their own strength. You are supported not only by a huge fan base, but also by the achievements of your predecessors, which seem to say that miracles are commonplace at this club. Players start to believe in themselves much more, and faith is the main key to success. Of course, Santiago Bernabeu also has a special magic. Real got 3 of their 5 previously mentioned comebacks at their home stadium. These were all matches where Madrid needed to score multiple goals to survive, and they did it with the support of their own fans. However, Real have another secret weapon that has been winning trophies for the club over the past decade. There is no way that the team will generate iconic comebacks every year solely on willpower and inspiration. This requires work, and more work. To win matches, a player must run to the end not only in the first minutes, but also in the last. The key to the phenomenal physical fitness of Real Madrid players is their head of physical preparation, Antonio Pintus. The Italian specialist is legendary, and his method of work has already brought Blancos 3 wins in the Champions League. He first worked with Real Madrid from 2016 to 2019. During these 3 seasons, the team won the Champions League twice. Then he left the club and worked at Inter for 2 years. After that, he returned to Real in 2021, and the team immediately won the Champions League again. Pintus became known for using hypoxia masks in his work. It's a test to evaluate the physical condition of the players, their power, Antonio says. Thanks to these tests, an individual training plan is developed for each player, which allows them to be in much better condition and, importantly, to remain fit at the end of the season when most important matches are played. Players don't like it very much because it's very hard. There is a player who has told me that I'm a devil. The players submit to torture. They like to work. We are all united, all together, Antonio shared. The fact that Real are able to increase the tempo at the end of matches is due to Pintus. When the opponents are exhausted, the Blancos continue to push and often succeed. These result in goals in the last minutes and epic comebacks, but the main reason for this is the hard work and training every day under the guidance of the demon genius Antonio Pintus. In the end, we return to the main point. You can't achieve anything if you don't go through suffering and hard work. And the players in the white shirts are at the top because they understand this and do it. This is what they do. There is no luck in that. It's called Real Madrid, period. Thierry Henry said in the studio after the win over Bayern. When a legend speaks, we listen. Friends, write in the comments your favorite Real comeback in the Champions League and whether you believe that Blancos will win the final against Borussia. Be sure to subscribe to our channel if you enjoyed the video and support it with thumbs up. Bye bye!